Welcome back, everyone, to Meditations by Gregory T. Obert, bringing you the best new guided meditations and mental health discussions every week. I'm your host, clinical psychologist, Dr. Gregory T. Obert. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I have sort of a mental health discussion for you, sort of not. And the reason for this is because I have an interesting change that I am bringing to the show. And I'm excited to tease this with you all here. So let's dive into it. So as all of you know, if you've been listening for a little bit of time, maybe watching on YouTube, I have had a number of changes to the off weeks that have gone on. So each meditation that I put up was originally every other week. And I just didn't do anything in the off weeks. But ever since I launched my practice, Royal Oasis Psychotherapy Institute, I decided to try and add some more value to the show, and that means doing something every week. So that initially started as my Therapy 101 series. Now, I have talked about many different topics on that series. You can scroll back through the feed, and I easily put or handily put Therapy 101 at the front of every single episode, so you can just kind of scroll quickly and find it rather than have to read the titles. And then after that, I put a dark psychology episode on there, which, if you're not familiar, I do a deep dive into something dark and scary and spooky in the human mind. I do that every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central. Although when this episode goes live, I actually won't have one this upcoming Saturday because it is Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break from it, and that is November 29th, 2025. As I record this, that's the day I won't have an episode. But regardless, there are still plenty of episodes up there. And I decided to put one of those episodes into the podcast. And I'm getting to the point where I'm not 100% sure what I want to put in the off weeks. So I've been asking people for thoughts, feedback, anything that they think, ideas, anything that they think might be beneficial to put in that slot, and as of yet, I haven't gotten any suggestions. And that's not to shame anybody or make anyone feel guilty. I haven't heard anything, so I don't really know if that's what people like, if they want me to change it up a little bit. So as it stands, I've been thinking, I can't do Therapy 101 forever. Eventually, I have to change the topic. And so I was thinking about doing some deep dives maybe into specifics related to treatments. Because I have touched on the treatments that I practice and that I specialize in, but I haven't really done a deep dive necessarily. So I could do something like that. Although I had a suggestion from somebody in my personal life that I decided to move forward with instead. Now, one of the things that I have been consistently shying away from is interviews. And the reason for that is because I guess maybe in my head I kind of thought, well, interviews are for people that are really experienced. You got to have the skills, maybe have a background in media, and I'm just a guy with a podcast, and what the heck, what do I know? But the more that I thought about it, the more I'm just like, that just seems like a silly belief to have. And I have done my best to work through that, and I think I've worked through it pretty well. And I decided to start reaching out to people for interviews. And as such, I actually got a few different bites from people. In fact, over the last month, I've gotten 4 bites. One ended up canceling, which was totally fine, wishing her all the best. And hopefully we'll have a chance to talk at some point in the future. But I have 3 big ones that I'm really eager to share with people. And I don't want to say the names just in case anything changes between now and when I release those interviews. But I'm eager to do so. I have 2 that have already been recorded, and I just need to actually work them up, edit them down. And by edit them down, I mean really just rip the audio from the video. I will probably upload the video as well to my YouTube channel, but I definitely want to get the audio off there. These are completely and totally unedited interviews. So as they were recorded, they get put up. Whether there are any stutters or stammers or whatever, and that hasn't been the case, thankfully. Although there have been a couple times where I couldn't find the right word I was looking for. But that's okay. So I intend to put those up. And just to give you an idea of what some of these interviews look like, I have one person who has these incredible intuitive abilities. He and his mom talk about being able to dictate messages. I say dictate. I don't think he'd use that word or channel. Maybe dictate. These messages from angels. And it was such a great interview to have. I think there was a lot of value in that because whether people admit it or not, there is some level of spirituality that comes out of this podcast. Because we talk about guided meditations and mental health, there is some degree of spirituality that comes up. And I thought his story was interesting enough to have him on. And I'm looking forward to seeing that go live. Today, actually, as I record this is my second episode I'm recording today because I had an interview with just this lovely woman who shared a little bit about her journey with sobriety as well as some of the charitable initiatives that she is taking on. And it was just such a fun interview. In fact, I had to cut it off because we were going and I'm like, wait a minute, we're starting to go over time. Maybe she has things to do. And she did. So I had to kind of stop myself and be like, oh, hold on. We'll save this for maybe another time. So I'm very eager to put that one up. And then there is a third one from another therapist that I'm looking forward to having on as well. I think we'll have a lot to talk about, particularly in the realm of whole health, holistic health, and how all that can tie into improving somebody's mental health. I say all of this because, again, I think that these interviews are actually going to bring a lot of value for people. And I guess in the past, the reason why I haven't is not only maybe some insecurities I might have had, but also, do I want to go get guests? I don't know. Because initially when I started the show, my phrase was, welcome back to Meditations by Gregory T. Obert, bringing you the best new guided meditations from community healers every other week. And the plan was to automate this process so much that I'd have people out in the world who would either record their own meditations for me to stitch into my episode or to give me scripts that they wrote that I could then put up on my own. The problem was that I didn't really have a lot of bites. And it ended up just being me doing a lot of the writing. And eventually I just scrapped that idea altogether of having guests on. Though I do occasionally get people reaching out wondering if they can be on the show. Up to this point, I've just declined all interview requests, though I have encouraged people to maybe reach out with a guided meditation script, and then I could still promote their stuff and have something of value for my audience. However, I think that way of operating, it's just kind of limited, and I don't really think it serves all of you in the best ways that I would like to. And that would mean, by serving you better, that means bringing in different viewpoints, whether that has to do with spirituality, psychology, or even, just somebody's own healing journey, whatever that looks like. And so I'm going to start doing that more often. I don't have a set kind of schedule for when interviews are going to be released. Like, what I mean by that is, in the off weeks from the meditations, I'm not necessarily going to just make that every single time an interview. I will have the interviews ready as people come to me and as we have time to actually record them. And so I look forward to sharing those with you when they're here. Just know that the off weeks are not going to be exclusively interviews from here on out. And in fact, as we look towards the end of the year, usually around this time, I tend to take some time off. And that's just because I do this every week. I do it most of the year. There have been years where I have missed significant portions of the podcast. But in recent memory, I do my best to stay on task, and if I am going to miss an episode, I'll at least let you know. I'll put up a quick one saying, hey, I'm sick, or whatever the case may be. Some things happened. But as I look towards the end of the year, I would still like to take a break from the show. So while I don't really have a set date in mind, I am thinking that I will probably take the last maybe 2 weeks off in December, maybe the first or second week in January, and then get right back to it after I've had some time away. Now, during that time, I would still like to put episodes up, and that's where these interviews come in. So I will likely record 1, maybe 2 more guided meditations for the rest of the year. And then I'll have some interviews for you. I will also have my end-of-year wrap-up, which is a yearly tradition that I have. And then there might not be anything on the feed for a week or 2, and then we'll jump right back into everything sometime in January. So I say all of this not only to give you a roadmap as far as what happens next, but also to show you that even though I put this stuff out there in a podcast, I am also working on my own healing journey. I mean, even little hang-ups, insecurities about, well, should you do an interview? Should you not? Is this something that is going to benefit people? Is it not? I think that just as you all are working through things, I am as well. And it is helpful to share my stories with you so that you know you're not alone. And it's helpful to share all of your stories with other people, because not only can you teach others, you might teach me. And it's just a wonderful community that I kind of hope to foster with people. They can always come to my show, and they can always get some of the best discussions, the best meditations out there. And I feel very privileged to be able to do that. And I'm grateful that I might even be moving in a new direction here by having that sort of community that I'm looking for. From this podcast, at least. So, with that said, I would like to offer the invitation. If anybody thinks they have something that they could potentially benefit the show with, I would be eager to at least chat with you briefly, whether that's over email or phone or a quick video call, just to kind of see what you have, what you're offering, and if it's something that I think would line up with the audience really well, I'd be happy to find some time to make the interviews happen. Now, for those that are super duper eager and ready to go, let me put it to you this way. If you actually want to come on the show, please, in the description, there is a link to my personal website, gregorytobert.com. Head over there and send me a message from that website. There's a contact form. You can send me a message and let me know what it is that you're thinking. Please, please, please do not share a message with me about the podcast through my private practice. the Royal Oasis Psychotherapy Institute. And that's just because I want to make sure I'm not, getting messages about podcasts when really I want that to be a contact form for people that want therapy. So I would appreciate that if you could do that. Head on over to gregorytobert.com, drop me a line, let me know if you'd like to be a guest on the show, and we will go from there. So, with all that said, I appreciate you all listening. I know it's not quite as lengthy of a discussion today, but I'm just really excited to get some of these interviews out. I want to release them right now, but I want to give the actual guests some time to kind of prepare on their side, to share on their socials and whatnot. So please do look out for those interviews. In fact, I will commit right now. I will have an interview, the first one up on December 8th, 12/8/25. As I record this, that is when I will have it up in 2 weeks' time. And you can keep an eye out for that. So I'm very excited. I look forward to seeing people let me know their thoughts on the interviews. Let me know if they want to be guests on the show. And thank you again for the support. Please, as always, leave a 5-star rating, review, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever it is you need to do on the platform you're listening to this. It is very helpful, so thank you so very, very, very much. And I will be back next week with another guided meditation, probably my last one for the year. So until next time, be safe, be well, be powerful.